So what was your favorite experience in working together on this film? Like, did you have a moment?
Well,
I know mine. Have a moment. Go for it.
Well, several moments for sure. I think an overall thing for me was like having you guys sort of like join we shot very close to my childhood home and where I grew up. So having you guys sort of join the family of like meeting all my friends from college that came out, all my friends from high school, my family. I mean, you basically like lived in my house for a month, and so did the cast too. Like every single night after filming, the cast would come to my house. My dad would grill. You know, my mom would help us put on parties. We'd play board games. We'd watch movies. Watch The Big Lebowski together. The Shining.
She has this. You can tell she's been obsessed with film her whole life. They have this basement with an enormous, like, theater-sized screen. So, like, the whole cast and crew would go back there after we shot and just like watch movies till early hours of the morning.
Yeah, it was very special.
Did they start to creep into the story? The Big Lebowski. Can we like start recognizing?
It was relevant because it's The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, it was just like a very special experience, and I remember being finished with production, just thinking like, oh my god, I peaked, and I don't know where I'm gonna go.
Somehow, I don't think that's true.
I remember there was a night where we had everyone, all the cast over, and like my dad was cooking. My dad's a great chef, and we were playing board games, and I literally walked away from the table, and I was like, oh no, I peaked. It's too early, but I peaked.
And that's good.
Happened.
Oh, man.
What about you guys?
Jimmy.
I mean, look, shooting in a bowling alley is so much fun. There was an arcade in the bowling alley as well that we actually built. There wasn't one originally. We had all these arcade machines shipped in. So, you know, during the lunch breaks, we'd bowl and play video games and like...
Did you get good?
I'm improving a lot.
Good.
I went from...
John is great.
Terrible to mediocre.
Yeah, you did.
So
Which is
it's a work in progress.
Yeah. It is.
Did you have anybody coach you?
I think the
bowling,
the guy who owned the place, Dale, gave us a few pointers.
Yeah. He gets very intense. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a little secret? I grew up in Colorado, and when I was 10, I was the women's state champion bowler.
Whoa.
Are you serious?
What are you doing?
We're gonna
Awesome.
go bowling.
Yeah, totally. I do it. Do you talk about peak? I peaked when I was 10. In my bowling career, that was it. That was all that.
What's your average?
It was not cool.
What's your average?
On average anymore, I'm like, I break 100 and I'm happy. So I break 100 every game, but that's about
wow.
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
You're talking to someone who just made a movie about bowling.
I know. Okay, I'll take it.
Wow.
What about you?
My favorite part was, I mean, this is silly or sort of mushy, but the people. I mean, we had an amazing crew, especially. I mean, we've talked about the cast, and they are just incredible, and the amount of passion and hard work they put into it, and most of them came from Los Angeles, but we also had some really great Chicago cast members. Those people were incredible, but I mean, also just the crew and. Like when we wrapped, John was saying like the first thing he said was like, it's very rare on a film set that I know everyone's name.
No, he said that was the first time he knew everyone's name.
Oh, it was the first time?
It was the first time he knew everyone's name. Yeah.
And he was just like, John does not usually get very mushy or anything. And he was like, you could tell he was like very touched. And we all felt the exact same way. It was just like, when something needed to get done, when there was a problem, like people just jumped on it instead of, you know, like... being frustrated and not wanting to fix it, and that was just because the good vibes were there and everybody felt like they were doing good work, and that's totally transfers into the movie, and that for me is just like I felt very spoiled like as a producer, like to be able to have such amazing people all around us. It was really cool.
It seems like across the board you guys have this real family vibe and family leadership, I would imagine, and obviously John read what you wrote and was like, I'm in, which is impressive and awesome. Did you know him before? Did you have any other? You were just like, here you go.
Yep. I didn't even really like send him the script. The casting director we were working with at the time had sent it out to his agents and like that agency in general, and just like he came in and auditioned one day, and I was sitting there like, do I know you?
Yeah.
I was like, cool.
Like, no, this can't be.
Yeah, and I mean, the gig is up. I hadn't seen Napoleon Dynamite when he came in. I had only seen Blades of Glory, and I was a big fan of Blades of Glory because I like Will Ferrell. I love and it was just like, whoa, Jimmy McElroy, this is cool.
Yes.
And then I watched Napoleon Dynamite after we made the short film version of this movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which we did. We did the short.
We
film.
did the short.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so did you do the short? And I'm just kind of like the industry and shorts, and now we have episodics and
yes,
all of this.
Yeah.
So did you do a film circuit?
We did
with
3 film festivals with the short, just to like get that out there as a proof of concept for investors and producers and stuff. And once it did the job, we just pulled it because I was like, I don't want a ton of people seeing this because I know it can be bigger and better,
Right.
you know, and I didn't want it like circulating.
Yeah. And it was going to be like, the feature was always the goal. So it was like, why see what we did on limited resources after a certain point? Like we're going to do it. So, like you'll see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you talked about something coming up next. Can you talk about it?
I did. A couple projects that we're talking about. We started talking about last night.
You're gonna keep the family together.
Yes.
Cool. Good.
That's the goal. We are developing a couple things at once to sort of see, like, you just never know what's going to happen, and see which one takes off first. The project that I love so much is that I was mentioning before is called Gloria Talks Funny. It's based on my senior thesis film from Chapman, and it's about a struggling voice actress who's just getting these gigs that are not fulfilling to her. She used to be the voice of a famous cartoon, and then they're remaking the cartoon, so it's all about her journey to sort of try and get this role back, because she is the voice. She created the character basically,
Right.
but because she's a woman above 50 in the industry, she faces a lot of ageism, which is inherently sexism because you're a woman. But so it's about that, but it's more about what does happiness mean to you, and seeking happiness and success, and sort of your own personal definition of that. So it's her journey to figure that out. And
So you explored bowling alleys, although you had wrote a film about bowling alleys, although you had never experienced it.
Right.
Now you're writing it about a 50-year-old woman, although you are obviously not.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
This is though, I will say, this is inspired and loosely based off of true stories. The woman who stars in the short, she's actually Candi Milo, a good friend of mine. She's also in our feature. She plays Sheila in the feature. She's the owner of the bowling alley's wife or ex-wife, and she's sort of like is the person who sits at the desk all the time, and is just like in there like, what are we gonna do? Jeff, help me. And so she's a well-known voice actress in the industry, known for like Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory and big cartoons, and so taking her stories and helping her sort of showcase that in a comedy, because I find that story is working best as a comedy. My thesis was pretty funny, and it's just like a good way to shed light on an issue, a serious social issue that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, we loved Miss Arizona was a great interview.
Yeah, we saw that.
And that, basically saying it's a comedy about domestic violence, and you're like, what? But it is very much about how do you make it approachable, right, without making fun of it.
Yeah, totally.
How do you, as opposed to and bring difficult subjects, because I think that's one of the things that we find is that it's all about consciousness.
It is.
How do we bring these conversations forward and have them, the difficult ones especially? And the other thing I am noticing here at the festival is that there are a lot of roles for older women, and we're having over 40, over 50. I mean, Grace and Frankie, hello. My daughter is 21, and she is the one that brought Grace and Frankie to my attention.
Really?
She was like, you need to watch this.
That's awesome.
Really?
And see, it appeals to someone younger as well.
Yes.
So that's great.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you. Thanks for
having
us.
Great.
I'm glad that you were here, and we are gonna share the heck out of you, and I can't wait to see it on the big screen.
Yes.
So
that's the
goal. Is there
that's
anything
the hope
in the near?
That's right.
Social media, tweeting and Instagramming, whether you saw the film at the festival or not, just maybe like bringing awareness to the fact that you want to see it on screen. Yeah. That's important. So all of our social media is at When Jeff Movie. The first two pieces of the title, When Jeff Movie.
Good.
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Good.
All that.
So you don't have to remember the whole title, just the When Jeff.
That's what we tried to make it easy for people.
But go ahead and try to remember the title.
Get it right.
Hey, if people can remember Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and blah 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 blah,
Bogus
Journey, you'll be good.
Harold and Kumar.
Yes. Yeah. All those big long titles.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And if you can do it, they can do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Notice I did it very slow.
Just exactly. Very slow.
Just one word at a time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Great.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Sometimes I need to unplug. Sometimes I've got to reboot. Sometimes I just want to sleep. But I always want to connect with you. Get into Brew Moods, aromatherapy lotions powered by a mindfulness app.